You know that moment when you peel back the lid on a blueberry yogurt and you're expecting this bright, vibrant blue, but it's purple? It's one of those little kitchen mysteries, right? Well, today we're going to solve what I'm calling the purple yogurt problem. I mean, it's a totally fair question. It's labeled blueberry, it definitely tastes like blueberry. So why in the world isn't it actually blue? Let's put on our detective hats and crack this case wide open. All right, so our investigation is going to start with our main suspect, the blueberry itself. Turns out this little fruit has been hiding a pretty big secret. And boom, here's our first major clue. We all see that blue skin, but if you actually squish a blueberry, the juice that comes out isn't blue at all. The flesh, the part that actually gets mixed into the yogurt, is a reddish purple color. So right from the start, we're not even working with blue. So what's behind that reddish purple color? Well, the science comes down to these things called anthocyanins. That's a mouthful, I know, but just think of them as the natural pigments that give plants their awesome red, purple, and blue colors. They're like the fruit's own personal paint set. But here's the catch. These pigments are kind of shifty. So let's move on to our second clue and see how this all connects. Those anthocyanins we just talked about, well, they're basically tiny chemical chameleons. Their color isn't set in stone. It actually changes depending on the environment they're in. And this right here is the key. It all comes down to acidity, or pH level. Yogurt, as you might know, is acidic. And in an acidic environment, those anthocyanin pigments shift over to the red and purple side of the spectrum. If you put them in something neutral or alkaline, they'd look more blue. So the second those blueberries get mixed into the yogurt, a chemical reaction literally forces their color to change. Okay, so we've got two big pieces of the puzzle. The fruit itself is purplish red inside, and the yogurt's acidity pushes the color even more in that direction. Clue number 3, the final mixture, is where we bring it all home by looking at how yogurt is actually made. So let's just walk through this. First, the berries are crushed up, and that releases all that reddish-purple juice we talked about. Next, that juice gets mixed in with a plain white yogurt base. And just like when you're mixing paint, what do you get when you mix reddish-purple and white? You get a soft purple or a lavender color. And to top it off, any heat from the food processing can actually make those pigments even darker, really locking in that final purple shade. All right, we've seen all the evidence, we've followed all the clues. I think it's time for the verdict. Let's officially close this case. So let's just recap. Your yogurt is purple for 3 simple reasons. 1, the inside of a blueberry is already more purple and red than blue. 2, the acidity in the yogurt forces that pigment's color to shift even more toward purple. And 3, and this is a big one, a true stable blue color is just incredibly rare in the world of natural foods. And there you have it. The next time you open up a blueberry yogurt, you'll know exactly what's going on in there. Pretty cool, right? That's literally science at work in your snack. But solving this little yogurt mystery actually uncovers a much bigger and honestly a much cooler truth about the food we eat. And it's all about how incredibly rare the color blue really is. Seriously, stop and think about it for a second. Can you name a food that's truly, vibrantly blue besides blueberries? It's really, really hard. It turns out that blue is one of the rarest colors in the entire natural food kingdom. The chemistry just doesn't happen that often. And that's exactly why when you see a really intense blue food, like a blue raspberry candy, a sports drink, or that bright blue frosting on a cupcake, it's almost guaranteed to be from artificial coloring. Food scientists literally have to create that color in a lab because nature just doesn't serve it up on its own. So in the end, the purple yogurt problem wasn't a problem at all, was it? It was actually a doorway into some pretty amazing food science. And it really makes you wonder, what other delicious mysteries are just sitting there, hiding in plain sight, right in your own kitchen?